Welcome to another Planning Beats video, and today we're going to talk around how you import your booking data. Now, you can import staff, services and leads and other things, but we're going to concentrate mainly on bookings today. There is still some work to be done, as always, caveat that we are in a development system and this video is designed to share information with you. But it's a good idea just to get an understanding of what you need to export. Obviously, that is dictated by your current system and what they'll allow you to export. Good news is with Planning Beats, you can export everything in all areas because we're not horrible and don't want to trap you into the system, but that's a different topic for another day. So yeah, really easy way to come and import stuff into Planning Beats. One thing to bear in mind is before you've imported anything, it's very important that you set the system up. So you should have the system set up with things like funnels, your client portal templates, services, staff members, all that type of stuff, so you can point this information to each booking. I will do an entire setup video once we get closer to the full testing stage. At that point, I will do an entire rundown of what you need to do and then how to import with a kind of final polished tutorial. But for now, let's jump in and I'll introduce the import system. And I do apologize in advance. I'm going to start with a very boring but very useful spreadsheet. So as promised, here is said spreadsheet. What I'm going to do is just talk you through the fields. So you've got your booking ID. You can obviously manipulate this to match your current system if you need to. You've then got a P first name, which means primary. So you have a primary client and you can also have secondary and actually more clients as well. So you can come in and put in their name, their last name, their email, phone number. It's really important that you use a country code. So in the UK, it would be 447, something like this. Just make sure you've got ASL formatted, as I've just shown as an example there, correctly, and that you have your country code there. You've then got the client primary address to be laid out like this, a company name, and then we move on to the secondary client. Now, it's a bit of a confusing one because you can actually have a third and a fourth and a fifth client if you need to. So all you need to do is use a comma and break those details up. You can do that with the name, last name, email, and phone number. Again, just don't forget to use that country code. Then we move into some venue details. So you've got the venue name and venue address as two separate fields. We've then got the event start time and end time, event start date and end date. I'll probably switch those around actually, but really easy to put in. I'm going to confirm whether it will take 12-hour, so if you put PM or AM, or whether it will take 24-hour. We're just finalizing that at the moment. And I guess what's important to note is this spreadsheet will be available for you with all this detail in each box. When you go into the import booking, you'll be able to download this spreadsheet. So once it's finalized, it will have this spreadsheet with all the detail to guide you. And we'll also put a link to the more formal tutorial where you can quickly click and go and just watch a very short video of me explaining how this works. We'll be much more polished than this right now. So once we move on from the event type, we've got the funnel. Really important with the next few: funnel, service, title, staff name, client portal, and so on, that these match your exact names in the system. So let me show you what I mean. Here in the bookings, we have our event funnels, or our booking funnels, sorry, at the top. So if you go into edit funnel, you can literally just copy and paste, come back into your spreadsheet and just paste that. Just make sure it matches. It doesn't really matter about capitals, but things like spaces and stuff is important. So just make sure you match that. I would suggest just copying and pasting exactly what you've written in the system. You've then got service title, staff name. These are exactly the same. You can just use the titles that you use for your services and your staff. And is why it's really important that you've gone in and set this all up before. As always, you can just add multiples by using a comma and breaking it up. So you could add 5 services, 5 members of staff if you'd like. The client portal template, contract template, and financial option. You can see what terminology you should be using in the add lead or add booking system. So I'll show you that now. So if we come up here to add booking, you can see obviously event type we discussed earlier. It's important that you match those as well. But you've got the client portal template. Make sure you copy that name. Same with the contract, and financial options isn't quite complete yet. So I'll explain this. What's going to happen is invoice only, invoice and Stripe payment gateway, and then invoice and custom URL link. those will be headlines, and you'll actually have 3 options underneath. So we're not sure if we're going to do this over 2 columns in the spreadsheet yet. And as I say, that formal tutorial I'll confirm for you. But I can show you what the other options will be just by coming in here and going to the booking manager. If we go to finances and edit the plan, you can see that you've got these 3 options here: pay booking retainer and final balance, pay in equal installments, and the custom payment plan. So there's going to be a way to preset these up in the settings, and that will mean that you can actually then select those as well as whether it's just going to be an invoice. So do you want an invoice that displays a booking retainer and a final balance, or do you want an invoice that displays pay in equal installments? Same scenario with Stripe Payment Gateway and the custom URL gateway. The custom URL gateway is going to be something where you can essentially change what the take payment button does. At the moment, I need to set a plan up for that to work, but at the moment that's like a Stripe gateway pop-up, but you can have it go to an external website. So if you're using other systems and you still want the client to pay through them and have a really nice experience, you can still achieve that. But anyway, back to the spreadsheet. So a couple of final options here are all around the payment. So with payment, you've got the booking total. I'm going to say that's 1,000. Then we've got the deposit payment, which is 400. We can say the date that that was paid, and then we can go in and add additional payments, break them up with commas, and also do the same with the additional payment dates. So you can add all that information in. If you don't add this information in, what the system will do is take the service rate and just add that into the invoice. If you do this, it will override that. Finally, you've got the partially paid, not paid, or paid in full. These are the statuses of your payment, and you can literally just pick one of these 3 and it will show that for you. I'll very quickly show you where that will appear. So it'll be things like the payment overview and the deposit progress that you'll be triggering there. There's more information inside the notifications as well. So this will set up what alerts you have. So just make sure you have a think about that and add that in. And finally, the venue and agent feature. So if you want to activate this for this booking, if you put true in there, it will make your secondary client treated as like the bride or the groom or the party person, and your primary client treated as the venue or agent. And yeah, really all I would expect you to see then is tons and tons of booking information, all of this laid out, and now I'm going to show you how you import it. So if you come through to bookings, you're looking for the import and export button over here. So worth noting that you can hit export and pull all of your data out, but right now we're going to look at import. And we're going to browse for a file. Once you've uploaded your file, you'll see it over here on the right. I'm actually using Leads as a demo, but it will show you the principle. And then what you can do is you can start the upload. So hit start upload and you'll see this percentage bar go up. And then it will pull all this data in for you. Now, the good news is you don't actually need the titles in the spreadsheet to match. It will do a good job of guessing for you, but if you're exporting from another CRM platform, you don't necessarily need to go and change all the titles for this to work. You can amend them just through the top section here. We are going to work on these labels at the moment. We're still in development mode, so it'll be a bit clearer for you, but you've got things like venue name, and it'll be client first name and remaining balance and all that type of stuff. And you can go through and just have a look and just double check things. As you can see, we've got some that aren't filled in here, so it will actually show you your options. So if you want to build some of this stuff in here, you can do. The other one that I think is really cool is if we add a new column and we go for staff ID or something like that. Service ID, why not? So if you want, you can actually deal with this bit in this system. So you can go to select an option, and you can add the services that you want. You can do exactly the same for staff. So we can go into staff ID. Where's that gone? There. And then you can start to add staff members. So a really, really cool system that will allow you to get your data in quickly. Now, caveat to all of this, you should spend some time looking at things. I think it's really important as a business owner. Whenever I have moved CRMs, which I've done many a time and is what's led me to build one, but it's always pulled up something that I've missed. Somebody's not paid a deposit. I haven't got a staff member assigned. Something's not quite right. So it is a really cool process to do, actually. It is a process that's not quite as exciting as going behind and playing on the decks and stuff like that, but really important for your business. And I would encourage you all to do this if you haven't got a team of staff that you can get to do this for you. There are also some solutions that we're looking at where we can offer you a paid service to do this on your behalf. This would include the full setup as well, and we're in talks with, I won't necessarily drop their names at the moment, but some certain people in the industry that do work on client portals already. They may or may not be able to offer this kind of service. So as I progress with that, I'll let you know. Once you've done all of this though, it's really easy. You just hit save. I'm not going to do it now because it will completely ruin my test environment, but hit save and it will just add all those bookings and they'll all be there and you'll have all the data and it'll be really easy. The only thing, just to be fully transparent, that we can't import because of how unique it is music and questions. So if we go into the booking manager and we come down here, although it will import the client portal template, it's not going to fill in the answers for you. So there are a few ways you can think about this. For me, the way I've done it in the past is I've always said, right, in 3 months' time, I'm going to have a cutoff where it looks like my clients haven't really filled in much data. They haven't added many songs. They've not answered many questions. So I'm going to, at that point, have my 2 CRMs running and just merge over. It gives you a bit of time and stops there being a mad rush. The other option is you manually do all of this. Option number 3, there's some really cool AI tools on the market that you could have a look at. I'll be sharing a bit more information on these as we progress and learn more about them. The other options you've got are actually importing and exporting Spotify playlists, which is a great way to move bulk loads of music, especially for like general music requests. For me, it really does depend on what system you're coming from. If you're coming from a system that at least the UI and the experience is like on par with Planning Beats, it's going to be maybe one of those processes where you think about having a 3-month lapse and you move the client portal part of things over for people past 3 months away and keep your current clients just in that current system just to make their life easy. The other option that you do have is if your current system isn't as good as this and it looks really old and it's dated, it might be a fun way for the client to actually come over and say, hey, look, I know you've done a little bit of work in your client portal, but actually we've got this whole new singing and dancing system that is going to be great for you to get in and play with. So there's a few theories around all of this. You've got to be smart and clever. I'm not going to lie to you and say that moving data from a CRM to a CRM is the easiest thing in the world, but we have, I think, really hit the nail on the head in terms of getting that core data in. Because you've got the client portal templates that come in, you've then got all the questions, all your forms are set up. It is just a case of moving that data. The final thing I'll leave you with is we do have files, and we have also got the option to add a question that is upload PDF. So what you could do is upload of previous client portal. You'd probably want to change the section title as well to match this, data brought over from X portal or something like that. And you can actually upload their PDF. Now, it's not the perfect solution, but if you definitely want to cut ties with your previous CRM and not have that double cost, that is another method to think about. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a bit of food for thought, some solid information on how you can import bookings. And as I say, we've got this everywhere. You can come in, you can import staff, you can import equipment, you can import, leads. So you keep all your lead data. One thing that's really important to know, when importing data like leads and bookings, it will automatically populate your contacts. So you don't then need to import your contacts on top of that. Just something that I think is worth bearing in mind. As always, thank you very, very much for watching this video. If you're not already, please sign up to become a tester at planningbeats.com. By doing this, you'll be allowed into our inner circle discussion group. Now, I have opened this up a little bit more publicly recently, so you can search on Facebook now, inner circle discussion group Planning Beats, and it should appear as a group. Just try and join that group. If you do it that way, you won't become a tester. I won't have your details for that, so just bear that in mind. But if you don't want to share your information with us at this stage, absolutely fine. You can still get in the group, which is where I'd request that you leave all of your comments and feedback on this system, just so I can manage it in one central place and we can share the answers with the entire community. So as always, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.